Here is a hard truth almost no retiring service member fully grasps. The military pension you spent 20 years earning stops completely the day you die, and your spouse can be left with nothing. There's one program that fixes that, but the decision to use it is made once, at retirement, and it is almost impossible to undo.
Chris, this is the part that shocks people. That retirement check feels permanent, like it belongs to the family, but legally it is tied to the retiree's life. When that life ends, so does the pension, unless you have set something up in advance. By the time your family realizes it, the window to fix it has usually closed for good.
Today we break down exactly what that something is, what it costs, whether it is worth it, and the one-time choice you cannot take back. This is one of those decisions where 5 minutes of understanding now can change your family's entire future.
And the fix is the Survivor Benefit Plan, SBP. In plain terms, you agree to give up a slice of your monthly retired pay, and in exchange, when you pass, your surviving spouse keeps getting a check, 55% of the amount you chose to cover.
And it is not a check that fades out. It is paid for the rest of your spouse's life, and it rises with inflation every year, so it does not quietly lose its value over a long retirement. That inflation protection is a huge deal, because a fixed check would shrink badly over 20 or 30 years of a spouse's life.
But here is the weight of it. This is a one-time election at retirement, and for the most part, it is permanent. Turn it down or shrink it, and outside one very narrow window, you generally cannot change your mind later. It is one of the very few money decisions in the military that you truly cannot walk back, which is exactly why it deserves real thought.
So here's the question I keep coming back to. Could you spend a career earning a pension and then leave your spouse with zero from it, all because of a single form at retirement? A lifetime pension that can vanish, or protect your family based on one choice. There are free guides at military.professorerica.com. Now let us bring in some help and see how the coverage works. One thing before the next part, and then we move right on. If any of this is clicking, tap that like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for the next one. It takes a second, it costs nothing, and it helps more than you would think. Professor Sorensen is joining us at the desk to help walk through the mechanics, because the way you set this up decides everything your spouse eventually receives.
Chris, take them through it step by step, from the election to the check. So at retirement, you make the election, and you choose a base amount. That base can be anything up to your full gross retired pay. The bigger the base you cover, the bigger the eventual protection. You can also cover less than the full amount to lower the premium, but that shrinks what your spouse eventually receives, so it is a real trade-off.
And that base is the number everything hangs on. When you pass, your surviving spouse receives 55% of it every month for the rest of their life, and it gets the same inflation increase your retired pay would have gotten.
And it is not free.
No, and this is where the honest math starts. The premium is 6.5% of the base amount you chose, and it comes straight out of your retired pay each month while you are alive. So you are trading a slice of your check now for a guaranteed check to your spouse later, one they cannot outlive and cannot be denied for health reasons. That last part matters more than people think. No insurance company gets to look at your medical history and say no. If you qualify, you are covered.
So you pick a base, pay 6.5% of it, and lock in 55% for your survivor for life. Next, the real question everyone actually asks, is it worth it? So the real question, is it worth giving up part of your check now? Let us make it concrete with one example.
Chris, run a simple case so people can see the actual dollars.
Take a retiree with a $3,000 a month pension who covers the whole thing. If they pass, their spouse receives about 55%, roughly $1,650 a month. Across a year, that is nearly $20,000 guaranteed for the rest of the spouse's life. Picture that landing every month while your spouse is in their 80s, long after any private policy would have expired.
and the cost of that protection.
The premium is about $195 a month, 6.5% of the base, taken from the retired pay while the retiree is alive. So the honest question is whether that monthly premium is a fair price for a lifetime, inflation-proof check to your spouse. For many retirees, that premium is the single biggest line item carved out of their retired pay, so it is not a trivial cost to waive away.
And there is a real argument on the other side. It is not a fringe opinion either. Plenty of sharp financial advisors make exactly this case, and it deserves a fair hearing before anyone signs. So we owe it a real, honest hearing rather than a quick dismissal. Some planners say a young, healthy retiree could buy term life insurance and invest the difference instead. That can win if you die at the right time and the market cooperates. But term expires, it has no inflation raise, and if you live long, it can leave your spouse with nothing, exactly when SBP would still be paying. For most families, that guarantee is the whole point. You are essentially buying certainty, and certainty is worth a lot when the person depending on it is the person you love most.
So it is a genuine trade, a guaranteed lifetime check versus a bet you have to manage yourself. Is a fixed premium now a fair price for a lifetime? Inflation-proof check your spouse can never outlive. Professor Sorensen, let me hand you the hardest part. What is the catch people most need to understand before they decide?
One word: permanence. This is not a subscription you cancel later. You elect it at retirement, and if you decline or reduce spouse coverage, that decision is, in almost every case, locked in for good.
Chris, spell out the one exception, because it is the only real off-ramp.
There is exactly one narrow window. On the second anniversary of your retired pay, a one-year period opens where a retiree can voluntarily terminate coverage with the spouse's agreement. Outside of that, the choice you made at retirement is the choice you keep. There is no do-over if your health changes, if you have another child, or if you simply think about it harder 5 years down the road.
And there is a piece of good news for survivors.
There is, until recently, a widow's tax offset the SBP annuity for spouses who also got VA survivor compensation. As of 2023, that offset is gone. A surviving spouse can now collect SBP and VA dependency and indemnity compensation in full, side by side, which makes the coverage worth meaningfully more than it used to be. For a lot of families, that single change flipped SBP from a maybe into a clear yes. So if you looked at this years ago, the math is different now.
And that is the mindset I would leave people with. Do not treat this as a box to check on the way out the door. Sit down, run the actual numbers on your pension and your family, and decide with your spouse. It is one of the most consequential financial choices of your entire career.
Professor Sorensen, thank you. That line, decide it with your spouse and run the real numbers, is exactly the weight this deserves.
Glad to help.
So know your pension ends at death. Price the premium against the protection and decide with your family. If this helped you understand a choice that could define your spouse's future, like the video and subscribe. It genuinely helps us keep making these. Here's what I want you sitting with after this. If your pension ended tomorrow, would the people you love still be okay, or is that a form you need to think very hard about? A career pension can end at your death or protect your spouse for life. Do not sign that form on autopilot. I am Kai, and we will see you in the next one.